Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Holly. Well, let's just say today is Sunday, May 15th, 2025. It's 1:50 p.m. and we have been struggling. We'll let the viewers know that we have been struggling with getting the camera to view me. I actually put on makeup for you today, Holly, and unfortunately, the perps have interfered with the sound, the audio, the video, etc. So this is Holly's interview. I'm interviewing Holly, and for those of you who don't know who, and I've got a rooster that's going to keep chiming in here. Um, Holly is in a relationship with David A. So first, I want to ask Holly. Holly, please tell me who you are. Tell me about yourself, who you were before you became targeted, and let's continue.
Okay. Um, my targeting started in approximately 2016 and 2017. I was married one time for approximately 18 years, and he vacated the home in approximately November of 2016. My targeting started within the next 2 months, and it happened just really out of the blue. Well, let me just say this, preface it with this. Once he left, I was very happy. I started working out, running miles a day. I was doing well. I had a great job at a prestigious cardiology group. I was doing very well, very happy. In church every week, in Bible study. I was really doing things that I'd wanted to do for some time. So, out of the blue, in approximately, I would say January of 2017, somebody broke in the house and stole my hairbrush, my sunglasses, and my toothbrush. And you'll know when those items are missing when you only have one of each.
Sure.
Okay. So, of course, they took all DNA items and they let me know. That let me know, okay, there's a big problem here. Either somebody's setting me up for something, some kind of crime or something. Now, I did not report it to the authorities at that time. That was just not substantial enough to tell somebody at that point. But, anyways, it was alarming to me. I definitely was focused on it. I started to have unusual vehicles rolling through the neighborhood. There's one way in, one way out of the neighborhood. So it was unusual vehicles that did not belong in the neighborhood. People staring me down. Old vehicles. If you ever watched Barney Fife and Andy Griffith, those kind of vehicles were rolling through my neighborhood. Those that old. Okay, they're rolling through my neighborhood. And that's to alarm me. It was definitely alarming.
Yes.
And they were staring me down in my own yard like they were going to kill me. It looked like a serial killer. That's what it reminded me of. And it was very alarming. So I started to have break-ins. Um, I have at that point I had a lot of animals. I was an animal rescuer most of my life. So I had about 6 cats, 2 dogs. My husband took one of the dogs, so I had Bella, one dog, and I'll get to what they did to my animal later, but it was horrible. Um, I started noticing people following me to work, following me home, filming me when I went to a gas station with their phones. Just very unusual and alarming things, filming me. They were literally standing on the highway outside of their car, filming me as I drove by with a big camera. It was
Well,
really weird, okay? But very noticeable and just alarmed me even further. So I'm trying to hold down this good job, continue running every day, taking care of my animals, with all of this going on. Then I started noticing people breaking in, crossing over onto my property in the middle of the night with flashlights.
Yes.
So I thought, wow. I said, these people are coming at 2 and 3 in the morning. And yeah, I did start calling the police. I sure did. I started calling the police and they started coming out. And by the time they got there, these people were long gone. But they were definitely crossing over onto my property. I was on about an acre, acre and a half. And I had some stray cats in the backyard that I fed as well. So I was worried about them.
Right.
While this, I thought, what are they doing to my cats out there? So, yeah, I was just getting more and more alarmed, more and more distressed. One day, I rolled up into the gas station, and a man approached me, and he said, "Holly, are you distressed yet?"
Oh,
And I said, "Well, actually, yes, I am extremely distressed." And he said he just smiled. He just smiled. Like that's the goal.
he knew your name.
Yeah, he knew my name. He knew exactly who I was. I'd never seen him in my life. I've never seen him in my life. And he said, "Well, if you need any help, I live down the road here, down this road, down that road, first house on the right." And I thought, wow. I said, this is just really blowing my mind.
How
So,
old of a man would you say he was?
he was probably 50-ish,
Okay.
maybe 55-ish. Um, you know, mature enough to know better. You know what I'm saying? And just really started to distress me even further. The break ins got more prevalent. They were breaking into my house while I was at work and sending me photos of the inside of my house to my phone while I was sitting at my desk. One day I got a picture of two men in a kitchen, and I said, "What?" I said, "That looks like my kitchen." I said, "That is my kitchen." There were two men in my house, in my kitchen, and they took a photo of themselves, and I caught the wallpaper in my kitchen and my cabinets and in some of the paint. So I knew for sure that it was my kitchen. And so they were letting me know they were in my house while I was at work. Now, this would explain my animals' behavior when I got home each day. The minute I
Yes.
got home from work, and opened the garage door, all the cats ran out as fast as they could. They would run out of
Yes.
the house like they were scared to death.
They were scared.
They were scared and they wanted out of that house at
Yes.
all costs. They wanted out of that house. And so I knew by their behavior, big problems are here. So they started, I would leave my cat kibbles out and cat plates when I went to work, and they would put them in symmetrics. They would put them in a circle, a triangle, a rectangle. They would let me know that they were in there. They would move things around to let me know that there were people there. They actually left a window cracked open and in the kitchen, so I knew they were coming and going while freely while I was at work. And I know I did not have cameras because when my husband left, I took on the mortgage, I took on
Yes.
all the bills, and he was scot free. So I took all of that on myself, and I was really pressed financially.
Was your husband any military friends, law enforcement?
No, no. Just a good old country boy, great heart, good person. It just did not work out. And, um, when I went to the detective and actually sat down for a long talk, he said, "Holly, it's always the husband. It's always the husband. This is your husband doing all this." I said, "No, sir. No, not my husband. Doesn't fit the ticket at all. Known him, been with him for 18 years, and he absolutely loves the animals and would not ever cause me this kind of distress, ever. And doesn't have the pull to do so either."
Right.
Um,
Divorce triggers. Divorce, when women are alone, separate from a husband, no matter how long you were married, it seems to trigger this program taking action on the female.
yes. They knew I was by myself at that point. it's almost like they'd been waiting on it.
Yes.
And, it just kind of kicked in. Then they started the noise campaign was absolutely off the charts. I mean, I can't even tell you the noise. They would literally park in front of my house and lay on the gas, lay on the motorcycle gas, laying wheels. They brought in monster trucks, as loud as you could possibly imagine, and just revved it up when they went by my house, which further alarmed me. I'm seeing all of these vehicles that don't belong in the neighborhood, and it just further freaked me out. So I'm on high alert.
Sure.
And finally, I get to the point, Lorraine, that I think these people are trying to kill me. They're after me from either I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Was I in the wrong place at the wrong time? Who have I pissed off? Why have I, what's going on here? And I started sleeping in my car with my dog. Okay, because I thought, well, if they're going to kill me, they're going to have to do it on film. So I slept. I have a home, but I chose to take my car at night when I got home from work, take Bella, and the cats. I left the cats, yes, probably shouldn't have in hindsight. Um, but I did leave, and I slept at banks, grocery stores, and hospitals, every place where there would be lots of cameras.
Yes.
And I thought, okay, assholes, if that's what you want to do, bring it on. You're going to do it on film. You're going to have to do it on film. You're going to get me. You're going to have to do it on film. So, yeah, they kind of stalked me in those areas as well, but they did not approach me. Um,
During those times that you were sleeping in your car, were they going into your home?
yes,
And did you notice the downturn in your cat's behavior?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And so one day I get home from work and I called my cats for dinner, and one of my cats did not come. So I called her. Her name was Honey Girl. And I called her, and she had been beaten apparently with a baseball bat.
Oh my.
So they paralyzed her from the waist down. She was pulling herself by her front paws trying to come to the kitchen for dinner. And it's very upsetting.
I'm so sorry. That
But
she didn't
anyways,
know that. Yeah.
yeah, I had to take her the next day, and the vet said, "Well, this was an intentional hit. They have paralyzed your cat from the waist down. I'm having to express her both ways to go to the bathroom manually. You're going to have to put her down, Holly. I'm sorry."
Yes.
So I had no choice but to put her down. And he gave me a disc. He said, "If you want to report this to the police, here's the disc." And it's got the proof on there from the test that he ran. And he could see where the hit was on the back. He could see where the hit was. And it just totally rocked my life at that point.
Yes.
Um, it was at that point, I was like, if I catch somebody in my house, they're not going to leave. You know,
Right.
I'm to that point. I went to a pawn shop. I was checking into weapons at that point, and I thought, if they come in and hurt my dog, somebody's gonna pay. Huh.
Right.
I don't know who it's gonna be, but somebody's gonna pay if I find out who's behind this. And I gave my dog to my soon to be ex-husband for safety, and
Yes.
she grieved to death and died.
Oh no.
She
Oh
sure
my
did.
goodness.
So
What they do to animals is off the charts. It is so deeply disturbing.
yes, yes, because I love them with they were my little family.
Of
And
course.
I never had any children. I was not able. And they were my kids, my furry kids. So everything I did was for them. And anyways, things just progressed. I was gang stalked. Like, I know what gang stalking is now. Back then I did not. I had no idea what gang stalking meant, what it was. But there were just seemed to be hundreds of people following me everywhere, into the store, into the gas station, following me to and from work, chasing me around in the middle of the night. Like I said, I was sleeping in my car for a while and they chased me everywhere. And it just, I thought, gosh, I would check on my parents' home in the middle of the night to make sure there was nobody here. I was watching over them. They didn't even know it. And I was worried, just, I was horrified. I was worried to death. And so when that man asked me at the gas station, "Are you distressed yet?" I guess they want to get you to the point where you're so distressed that you break.
Right.
And they,
Or do something out of character. It's the program. It's trauma-based mind control and satanic ritual abuse, and that's what they do to the animals. They know that the animals are close to you, and they actually change the behavior of the animals by their abuse of the animals. The way our behavior is changed because of their abuse of us.
right, exactly. Now, there was one night that I did stay in my home and I laid down on my sofa. I was literally sleeping on the sofa at this point so I could hear anybody coming in. Okay, rattling a window. I did not want to sleep in the bedroom. It was too far away from my cats. So I would sleep on the sofa. My cats would sleep on me. And I had about five cats on me. And it was about midnight. I would say approximately midnight, maybe 12:30. And the cats heard the perpetrator come in the house. Now they knew before I knew. Okay.
Yes.
So they scratched me from head to toe, leaving me. When, like I said, they were sleeping on me. They scratched me up. And all of a sudden, I feel a hand grab the upper part of my thigh, and then a rag went over my face.
Really?
Yeah, so I grabbed for the hand. Of course, both of my hands went for that hand. And while I'm trying to grab for that hand, the rag hit me on the face. And it was, I guess, chloroform and it knocked me out. I
Yes.
woke up, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I woke up hours later and there was blood all over my coffee table. I mean, all over my coffee table. Now, I don't know what they did because they apparently cleaned up whatever they did, except they left all the blood. So I cleaned all of that up and I had no idea what had just happened. Had no idea. Not a clue.
Did
Had
they
to have
harm
been chloroform. Had to have been chloroform. So,
did, did they harm any of your pets then?
not that I'm aware of at that point. I accounted for all animals, and, my dog was already gone. I'd already given her to him. So, um, yeah, that was really a bad one.
Do you feel that your body was violated in any way?
I wasn't sure. I can tell you this. I had a surgical scar on my body. They would had to have undone my pants to get to it. And it was leaking internal fluids. So it looked like it had been opened up at the base of the scar and it was leaking internal fluids.
Ugh,
So I don't know what they put in me. Now,
exactly.
there's then the worst of the worst was I was being tortured at work at my great job. People were saying things. The boss walked by my desk one day and said, "Holly, what's wrong with your head?" And I looked at her and said, "What?" I said, "I don't know. What is wrong with my head? Is there something wrong with my head?" And she just looked at me and walked off.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah. So things like that started happening at work. I had a gentleman from the next building come over who was all work, no personal, no nothing. He's just all is black and white with him. He trained me somewhat and he came over and he stood at my desk, and it was about 8, I don't know, it was early in the morning. It was between 8 and 8:30. He said, "Holly," he said, "I just wanted to make sure you made it to work. You know, there's a serial killer on the loose."
Oh goodness.
I said,
More,
"Excuse me?"
yeah, intimidation tactics, trying
Yes.
to
So
scare you.
that kind of thing started happening at work. People in the office would say, "Oh, Holly, don't drink too much Friday night." Okay, well, I did not really drink. I would drink a glass or two of Merlot on the weekends, and they were acting like I was throwing down with drinking, and I was not. And just so all of this started happening at work. And then the the next thing that happened was um, I started noticing marks in my upper arm from shots from like a
Yes,
needle, like needles.
yes.
And I talked to my cardiologist who I worked for, and he looked at it and he said, I said, "Is this a tick? What is this on my arm?" And he looked at it and he said, "I don't know, Holly." He said he got some tweezers and kind of pulled at it. And he said, I said, "Is that a tick?" And he was like, "No, it doesn't look like a tick, but I'll put you on an antibiotic for ticks just to
Right.
be on the safe side." What it was needle marks, on my outer arm. So they must have been getting me while I was asleep. Well,
Yes.
then what are you doing?
Mhm.
Hold on just a moment.
Yeah.
Lorraine.
I was putting your name in here. You
Okay.
didn't
Yeah,
have
these
to.
are black ops that come into your house. These are military guys.
Yes, yes. Now, okay, I'm glad you mentioned that, Lorraine, because they
Yeah.
started sending me pictures on my phone of naval ships. I
Yep.
started getting pictures sent to my phone of naval ships, okay, military ships, military men in full blown out uniforms. They're sending me on my phone. And I'm like, who are these people? I have no idea who's sending this, who these people are. Why am I getting pictures of naval ships? Okay. Had no idea. Well, the following week, I wake up on a Sunday, my day off, in a work dress and my work shoes. I get out of the bed. I'm like, what am I doing in a work dress on a Sunday? Well, I didn't know it wasn't a Sunday yet. I got up and drove to work. I thought I'm late to work. I must have laid down and I'm late to work. So I drove to work on a Sunday, got all the way to work. I kept thinking, well, there's no traffic. Got all the way to work. I called my boss. I said, "Where is everybody? Y'all aren't here." She said, "Holly, it's Sunday." I'm like, "What?" It's Sunday. So I had lost multiple days. So
Oh my.
yeah, they had taken me from my home. I'm guesstimating that it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and returned me to my bed on Sunday. And they put a dress on me, put my hose on me, put my shoes on me, and laid me down in the bed as if it were time to go to work.
Wow.
Probably hoping that I would wake up on a Monday and just go to work. Well, I noticed my cats hadn't been fed. The litter
Exactly.
boxes were dirty as if it had been approximately 3 days. Okay. And I cleaned them twice a day, every single day.
Yes.
So I was gone from my home for multiple days, Lorraine.
That's very scary, Holly.
Yeah, they implanted me. I'm very positive of it. I had implants put in me from head to toe. I know where a lot of them are now. Um, I don't know where they're all at, but I know where a lot of them are.
So
But
where you have the implants, do you find that
okay,
they're
well,
vibrating them?
a lot of them are on my face.
Okay.
I believe some are in my mouth. Some one of the days when they burned me horribly, and I have pictures of it. It's just, it's a really bad picture because they burned me so bad. My nose turned purple. And what is it, David?
Your left ear's red hot.
Okay, Lorraine,
Yes.
we need to.
You want to pause for just
Yeah,
a
can
minute?
we pause?
Is that okay,
Yes.
Holly? I mean, Lorraine, her left ear is like burning red hot. I'll take a picture of
Oh,
it.
yeah, we can pause.
Okay, sorry about that, Lorraine.
No
Yeah,
problem.
so it was very clear to me at that point that I had been removed from my home for multiple days and put back in my bed on a Sunday in full work gear. So, um, disturbing, it doesn't even cut it. You know what I'm saying? I was horrified. I even asked the HR person at work how many days I missed from work, and they never answered me. They would not get back to me and tell me if I
Wow.
missed any days. So, yeah, and there were two men back in the back of the cardiology group who just appeared. They were apparently, I don't know if they were with the FBI, I don't know who they were, what agency they were with, but somebody let me know that they were watching me at work. So this is kind of how um, things ended up before I left my job. Um,
Let me just ask, what did you do there?
I was, well, at first, when I went in, I was medical billing, and then I ended up being a financial planner. So I worked with all the patients. I met with all the patients who could not afford the procedures that they needed, and we went over their finances and helped to set up some type of payment plan, if you will, so that they could have their procedure and get the net medication that they needed, you know, to continue life.
Did you
So,
work at a hospital? Did you work at a hospital or
no, it was just a cardiology group,
a group?
very well known cardiology group. I won't say what state, but it was a really good job for me. Very good. Um, hang on just one moment.
Sure. It's very disappointing to have to leave a job that you love.
Yes. And it was very unlike me. My behavior started to change. I left this job without any notification at all. I did not give a 2 week notice. Very unlike me. My behavior was changing for the not so good.
Yes.
And it was just, it was not good. Anyways, then I guess I'm trying to remember. They did so many things that they would put dead birds next to my car. My nickname is Hollybird, and they
Oh,
would put dead birds next to my car door out my driveway, and they would shoot red laser lights into my window at night. You know, the red little red laser pinpoint
yes,
lights. They were
yes.
shining those through my window, so they would hide in the bushes and shoot those in my windows to further distress me. They just did all kinds of things. They even at one point, well, I'll get to that, but I've already discussed the murder of my animal. My dog passed from grieving. They removed me from my home and implanted me. Yes, I do know. Oh, I remember you asked me where some of the implants are. I have an implant in each eyebrow. I lost hair on the exact point where they inserted the implant. My hair
Yes.
fell out on both eyebrows in the same spot. Um, it's really yet to grow back. It's slowly growing back, but it's taken quite some time. Um, one of the times when well, let me just say this: in the very beginning, they would microwave me through the walls of my home. I found the plug-in outlets. They literally plugged it into my own electricity in my
Yes.
house, and they left the plugs in the outlet. They forgot to take the plugs with them. So
Using
they
your
were
own
microwaving
electricity.
me through the walls of my home. I woke up one morning and I was so out of it, so out of it. I couldn't see, I was seeing blurry. I literally walked down my driveway in my underwear. Okay,
Yes.
that's not me at all. I would never, never
Right.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yes.
I was so out of it by what they had done to me that I walked down the driveway. Now, they kept breaking in and putting things in my wine. I would drink Merlot on the weekends, and they would put things in my food. They were poisoning me.
Yes.
And I finally went to the hospital and told them, I said, look, I want y'all to test my blood. Somebody's been breaking in my home and putting something. I said, I want to be tested. I want my blood tested
Yes.
for toxicity. And I got 1013'd. Do you know what
Oh,
1013 is?
yeah.
Yeah, they 1013 me. Um,
For asking.
my mother and my stepfather had to get involved, and um, we asked who 1013 me, and their response was the military.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
You
We
got
were
your
told
evidence
that the
right there.
military, yeah, we were told that the military got involved and
Wow.
1013'd me. Right.
Wow.
So they took me to a mental institution by force. They literally pulled a gun on me in the hospital room because I was refusing to go.
Wow.
And the guy pulled a gun and he said, "You will go." And I
Wow.
said, "Well, okay." I said, "Well, you may take me, but I will get out in a day." I said, "My parents will go to a judge and we will get this shit handled." Okay. I was mad as hell.
Sure.
I was mad as hell. And they took me to a mental institution. They tried to drug me up. I said, "I'm not taking that shit. You're
Right.
not giving me those. I don't want those pills. I'm not taking them. I refuse." They made everybody stand in line for their medication and this, that, and
Right.
the other. Well, because it was a Friday, I couldn't get out until Monday.
That's exactly what they do.
Yep, I couldn't get out until Monday. So I had to lay in there with, I can't even tell you the kind of people that they put me in there with. But
I understand.
it was absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
And I got out and I was fuming. I mean, I was fuming. Um, but my parents were very concerned at that point. My behavior was changing. Just things were kind of breaking apart and going downhill. I kind
Yes.
of quit running every day. Now, when I slept in my car for those 3 months, at the hospitals and wherever I was at, I would get out and run. I said, you know what? You people are not going to stop me from running. I still ran and um, and tried to exercise to keep that up. But eventually that all ended. So then my handler uh, comes into play. Now, people may think this is exaggerated. It's not. He was with the CIA and he definitely had a false name. He let me know I, after knowing him for some time, I thought he was there to help me. Let me just say this. Let me preface it with this. I thought he was there to help me
Right.
with
That's how
whatever was going on. He was trying to be very friendly and very helpful, but he acted like there were things he couldn't tell me.
yes.
And I thought he was there to help. And I was like, please, thank you. Any help is appreciated.
Right.
And, but he was definitely with a federal agency. Um,
Approximately what year was this?
okay, he came into play later in 2017.
Okay.
Much later into 2017 after I'd been put through the ringer. Okay. He um he let me know that there was a time when I called a private investigator to come in and sweep my house for bugs, cameras, whatever. And my phone call was intercepted and he let me know that he said, "Holly, the people that came into your house to sweep your house was retired FBI people."
Oh,
He said your call was intercepted.
wow.
So he let me know the people that came in were with the FBI. They were
Yeah.
not private detectives. And I had my car swept. I paid $500 to have my car swept. Apparently they were retired FBI too. And it would cost me $500 to have my house swept, and it was getting expensive.
It's very expensive.
Very expensive. All to hear, oh yeah, there's a hot spot or two, but there's no big deal. The guy who swept my car said, Holly, if you're being tracked, you're being tracked by your phone. Okay. He said, there's nothing on your car. I went over it with a fine tooth comb. He said, there's nothing in your car, on your car or under your car. I didn't
Right.
believe that. I did not believe that. So, I went through things like that. So my handler gets involved, and I think that he is the save all, right? I think he's going to save me from whatever's going on and get me out of this mess. When he's the one controlling the whole entire thing. He's
Yes.
controlling all of the gang stalking. He's controlling everything they do to me. And my phone is every time I'm on the phone with him, my phone blacked out. It was being recorded. My phone was severely hacked. They ruined my Google Pixel phone, destroyed it. In fact, by hacking it so much, it burnt the battery, it burnt the whole phone up.
Wow.
And I literally had to finally throw that phone out. It was brand new, starting in 2016. I threw it out by the end of 2017. And anyway, so my handler got more involved with my life. And
Did you know him by name?
yes, Tony. I
Tony.
knew him by his fake name. It was not a real name.
Right.
And he, at one point, in the messed up relationship, if you want to call it a relationship, said that he could make a phone call and get a new identity at any moment, at any time, with one phone call.
Wow.
So he was either CIA or FBI. I'm going to push towards the CIA more so because he came into play earlier in the 2017-ish area when I went to Applebee's. I made notes. I
Yes.
documented everything, tags, people,
Right.
what was going on. I went up to Applebee's and I would sit there and eat my salad and make my notes. And he came in full disguise in hard to believe, but it's true. And he came in full disguise in Applebee's. And the reason I know this is that he had an amputated leg. So when he walked by me, I clearly saw that he had an amputated leg. So further into it, when I met him, he had an amputated leg. And I remembered that specific moment when he entered the restaurant and sat at a table and stared me down.
Yeah, there's no mistaking that.
No, there was no mistaking the limp. No, none at all. None at all. So, he was pretty involved in my life, Lorraine, and I don't want to get too much into that, but he was definitely with an agency. He had a fictitious job, which he did. And most of the people who work for the CIA have jobs that they actually can perform while
Yes.
undercover. So you don't know.
Yes.
So you're not aware that they are with a particular agency.
Yes.
And Tony fit the ticket to the hilt. And there's a lot of other things that happened, but V2K was definitely involved,
Okay.
and he let me know that he could read my mind real time, and he did read my mind real time, and I did multiple tests to make sure that I was right. He even quoted my blood pressure to somebody. My blood pressure was high one day, and he quoted my blood pressure to somebody.
Wow.
So they had my vitals, they had my what I was thinking real time, and Tony would pull out a silver piece out of his left ear from time to time, and he'd say, "Damn, Holly, my ear is bleeding," and his ear was literally bleeding
Really?
from whatever this little piece was down in his ear. I think they were transmitting what I was thinking or to him. I'm not sure exactly how all that works, but
Interesting.
yeah, it was unbelievable, unbelievable.
This is very high level secretive black ops stuff you're
Yes,
describing.
yes, it is. And a lot of the cars that followed me had Black Ops stickers. Lots of the cars that's why I would turn around and follow them, get their tag numbers. I mean, I got very good. They were stalking me, but I turned it around on them and stalked them.
Yes,
And I would do make U-turns in the middle of the road if I had to get behind them.
yes, yes.
And I got their tags. I saw their stickers, Black Ops, Skull and Bones stickers,
Yes,
lots
yes.
of Skull and Bones,
I
lots of
believe.
military stickers. Now, one of the vehicles that followed me constantly had the tag said Military One on the tag. That SUV that was blacked out followed me nonstop all the time. They were all the time around me. And, I was born on an Air Force base. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I was born on an Air Force base. My grandfather was a brigadier general. My dad was in the Air Force.
oh, and that was going to be a question of mine about your family history.
Yeah. So I did not have a lot to do with my father throughout my life. He chose a different route. But early on, I was involved, you know, with the Air Force aspect of it. I was not actually in the military. My family was. So, I don't
So
know
they
how
were
that plays
watching you.
into it, but it may have, it may
They
not.
were probably watching you and waiting, and then knowing that you were getting a divorce, they took the opportunity to pounce on the opportunity.
Possibly, yeah.
So at this point, do you still have your animals?
Um, it's a horrible, horrible story. Yeah, well, let me say this. There is another thing that happened. I was driving down the road one night and the whole front end of my car blew off. So they planted a bomb in my car
Oh
and it
my.
blew the whole front end off. Now, when the record driver got there, he said, I've never seen anything. He said, holy shit, I've never seen anything like this. There was cement involved in it. Um, it literally blew the front end of the car off. I don't even know what to say. There was some type of bomb. I almost had a heart attack when it blew up.
Sure.
It scared me to death. I thought, what did I hit? Oh my God.
Well, and that's no accident.
No, there was no accident whatsoever at all. None. I literally limped over to the side of the road and was just horrified. And, I was crying. I was upset. My stepfather had to come get me. Um, it was just a nightmare. Uh, finally, I sold my house and moved off with my handler. Unfortunately, I thought he was my save all, my savior. I thought he was going to save me through all of this. And just to find out that he was behind it all. When I actually confirmed that he was actually behind all of this, I left and I became homeless. I was
Oh,
homeless. Yeah, I had isolated myself from my mother, who was my best friend in the world, and I had isolated myself so they would not be involved and would not be hurt. And when I did so, it hurt me in the future. I became
sure.
homeless,
Yes.
and it was horrible. I was perp to hell and back again, in homeless shelters, and my aunt was helping me on the side. Um, it was just a nightmare. It was
So
horrible.
he was actually a honey trap.
Yeah, I fell for a big time honey trap. Sure
Yes.
did. That's what he wanted was my demise. And he stayed in it with me. He wasn't going anywhere, Lorraine. I had to leave him.
He's
Um,
being paid.
huh?
He's being paid.
Yeah, he was being paid. Matter of fact, he said one day, he said, wow, I'm going to be able to buy such and such car. And I'm talking, it's like a $200,000 car. And I was like, wow, why would you say something like that?
Right.
He was talking to people on the phone all the time. He was talking to the gang stalkers. I mean, he was arranging everything right in front of me, right under my nose. And, I'm thinking he's talking to his AA sponsor or whoever he thought, his employment people. He was not, and it was really happening. He said, "Oh, Holly, you're just schizophrenic.
Okay,
Oh, you're just
so there's the key
schizophrenic.
word. Yeah, there's the word.
Yep. Oh, you're just schizophrenic, Holly." No, I'm
Yeah.
not. No, I'm not. Um, so, he tried to make me think I was mentally ill. And,
For seeing him who he really is.
right, exactly, exactly. And it just went on. And finally, I became homeless. Then I really needed a job. So I had to get a job. I knew I could possibly go through some serious gaslighting, which I did. I got a job while I was homeless. I did have my car. Um, I had to wash my hair at Racetrack or QT. I had to wash off at the gas station, wash my hair, put my hair up in a bun, and appear at a job and appear put together.
Yes, horrible.
Very, very difficult. Very difficult. Then they gaslit the hell out of me at work. I had to learn to ignore it. Sure
Yes,
did. You had to learn to ignore it. I had to learn to pretend like they weren't talking to me or about me. And I just had to learn to ignore it and do my job to the best of my ability. And when I left, I would sleep in my car at night and then clean up at the gas station again, to go to work the next
right,
day.
right. And
Sometimes I had food, sometimes I did not.
right. How
Um,
old are you at this point?
oh, I don't even want to get into that, but
Okay.
yeah, yeah, it was, it was horrible. It was the worst set of circumstances I could
I'm
possibly be
sure.
in.
I'm
Then my
sure.
mother got sick
Oh,
and passed away. My mother passed away during all of this.
horrible.
Yes, and we did not get to spend the time that we needed to
Yes,
spend
yes,
together because of this God-forsaken program.
yes.
Because I was taken off my kilter and totally thrown into this program, not even knowing what it was, what's going on, who Tony really is until I found out later. And, not understanding why there's federal agencies involved and military people. But, the military has a lot of, they deal with the directed energy weapons. The military
Yes,
does that.
yes.
And the CIA is involved, and the FBI is involved to a certain extent. DARPA. Um, there's a lot of agencies that are involved on certain levels.
Yes.
Of course, I don't know what those levels are, but I know that they're involved. And it's just really sad. I finally worked my job. I was able to stay, and I just had to ignore the gangsta people trying to run me off the road. Okay, run
Right.
me into brick walls, right? I mean, cement walls on the highway. Somebody actually hit me. In my car. They were going about 100 miles an hour. They hit me and threw me down the highway in a high speed spin. And I thought, okay, I'm going to die. I'm in a high speed spin, going around and around and around and around down the highway. And I thought, well, I'm going to die. I called out on Jesus. I said, Jesus, please help me. I let go of the wheel. Finally, I was trying to control it and I let go of the wheel. And I ended up way down the highway in the middle of the highway in the grassy area. And the car who hit me, they got out and they were heavily strapped in.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a planned hit. They tried to kill me and did not. So they took me to the hospital and tried to kill me there. They gave me so much pain medicine that I couldn't even speak. I couldn't even
right.
talk. I was slurring my words, and they gave me another shot of morphine and mixed Demerol with it. And I said, I don't think you can mix the two. Matter of fact, I'm almost positive
Yeah, I
you
mean,
can't
you could
mix
die.
morphine and Demerol.
Yes, yes.
And that's what they gave me. And anyways, who but appears at the hospital but the police when they released me to take me to a hotel room. The police were there.
Oh,
Out of the blue, the police are there, and he said, "I'm here to
they were
take you."
in.
He said, "I'm here
Yes.
to take you to the hotel room so you can get some rest." And I said, "At whose orders?" He said, "I'm just here to take you to the hotel room." So they took me to the hotel room, and I called my stepfather, and he came and got me the next day. But what happened from that point to that point was a Black Ops helicopter flying over the hotel.
Hmm.
Two men arrived that looked like they were with the FBI, checked into the room next to me. Matter of fact, the guy that started talking to me at the hotel, he said, "They're here for you, Holly." He said, and he brought it, he came into my room. This guy who started talking to me, he was trying to feed me some food. I guess they knew I was starving. And he said, he brought a gun in the room, and he said, would you like to hold the gun? He said, and check it out. And I said, not really. What do you want me to touch that gun for? Why, has it been in some kind of crime and now you want me to touch it?
Right, your fingerprints. Right.
Yes, exactly. And I thought, what the hell? And he said, not, he said, better you than me. He said, they're not putting me through this. He said, I'm just a contractor. So he was contracted out to do whatever his part was. And,
Right.
but you know what I used him for? To get a little bit of food. I was
Good.
starving. I was starving. And, I allowed that because he helped me just a little bit, in a weird kind of way. Now, the
Right.
helicopter finally left. The men next door that looked like they were with the FBI never left. They would never leave the room. So they were doing something for the fall. I have no idea what. But my stepfather came and got me. My car was completely totaled. Um, when they hit me, they smashed me so hard in the back end that it took the trunk all the way. The trunk hit the driver's seat. So it impacted it and smashed it
Oh my
all
goodness.
the way up to the driver's seat. That's how hard they hit me. So somehow I survived.
Right, because you're protected.
Yes, by the Lord. That's when I called out on Christ during the wreck and let go of the wheel. And I thought, well, it's in God's hands now because I can't control the spin, is what I was thinking at the time.
Yeah, they were taking your life away slowly but surely, and hoping that they would succeed ultimately because you're a witness to them experimenting on you.
Right, exactly. Well, then I was able to move back home with my stepfather, and I now have a roof over my head. I still work. I'm able to work. Um, and let me just tell people maybe that who might need a little bit of hope. If you ignore these people, and I'm talking about the gang stalking, the gaslighting, the gang stalking, okay? These people are paid. Please listen to me, people. These people are paid perpetrators. I don't know whether they're paid through gift cards or cash or whatever, but they're paid. And if you ignore them, and I mean ignore them, you give no reaction because they're after your reaction. They're after reactions. They're after emotional, raw emotional reactions. These supercomputers are after raw emotions. Okay.
Right.
So if you stop the reactions and ignore them and give them nowhere to go with this, it will all but cease.
Interesting.
Yes, ma'am. I'm a witness to it. Now, from time to time, they still send a little bit of stalking every now and then. Okay. But for the most part, I have mastered ignoring them on the road and ignoring giving them any reaction whatsoever while on the
Yes.
road and while at work. It all but the gaslighting stopped at work because I ignored the hell out of it. And all but stopped on the road. Now, what did not stop? Now, some people may say, well, we never see Holly on social media talking, whatever. We never see her. Well, they have I have drones that follow me. There's two that hover above the house, and there's one that follows me to work every day and then sits above my job.
Wow.
They have burned me, people,
Yes.
beyond what you could possibly imagine. They've burnt holes in my face.
Hmm.
They've burnt indentions, lines,
Yes.
um, horrible burns all over me, and tried to disfigure me.
Yes.
Okay. It's not pretty. It is certainly not fair.
No, it's not fair.
And it's hard to live with. So when you don't see me out and about on social media, please understand that there's a reason for it.
I understand. And many subscribers also understand
Yeah.
because it's not you.
No.
It's not, you know who you are, you know what you look like,
Yes.
and these creatures, these psychopaths, want to take away everything that you are, all the goodness, all the joy, all the beauty, your animals that you loved. And it is not fair. And hopefully it's exposed. And that's what we do here. We
Yes.
expose it a little at a time because what's happening to you is happening to a lot of people.
Right. Right. Sure is. And I am so sorry if any of I'm so sorry for the people who are involved in this program. My heart goes out to you because I don't know how I've been able to withstand it this long, but
Well, tell me, at what point did you meet David?
okay. Uh, let's see. David might be able to help me. What year
I
was
was
it?
in the hospital.
David,
2022 from
20.
September 9th to October 21st.
So it was in 2022,
Okay.
approximately.
And
He was in the
YouTube.
hospital and he was making videos. And I commented on one of his videos. I can't even remember what I said or what it was
It was the
referring.
one about how handlers mess up Ti's looks.
Oh, how he
Oh,
was talking about how
yes.
handlers mess up Ti's looks.
Oh, they
And
do.
I commented, and he thought I was a perp. Rightfully so. At that point, he probably thought, oh, she's just a perp. But I sent him some pictures of some burns, and he quickly changed his mind after seeing the destruction that they'd done to my face. And that's how we
As a matter of
met.
fact, you said they just burnt me for 30 minutes and I just had fluid come out of my ears and my nose, and
Yeah,
you actually think I'm a perp and you sent a
Yes.
picture.
yeah, Lorraine, there was one particular burn session that went on a little too long. Went on for about 35 minutes, and they burnt me so bad on the face that they turned my nose purple. It literally destroyed the nerves in my nose. They burned me all over my face. I had fluid coming out of my ears. I had
Ugh.
fluid coming out of my nose, fluid dripping out of my mouth, coming out of my eyes. Any orifice on my head,
Yes.
any
Yes.
open area had fluid leaking from it. And I screamed bloody murder for the whole time because it hurt so bad that
Right.
I literally, when they were done with me, I just passed out from the pain.
I'm sure.
I passed out from the pain, and I was in my car. I was homeless at that time, and I passed out from the pain. Anyways, I took a photo of myself, I think the next day, the next morning, and my nose was still purple. And anyways, it outlined one of the implants. They
Oh,
burned me so bad, it actually outlined one of the implants that I have in my face,
interesting.
and I've got the photo. Now I'll let David share that with you, but
Yes,
only you, because the photo's so horrific
it
that
is.
I
Yeah,
don't want anybody else to see it. But David
sure.
was going to share a couple of burns with you. You
You
want
want
to
me to
do
share them
that?
real quick?
Yeah. Do you mind if he shares those?
Yes, yes, go ahead. Yes,
I'm sitting
Okay.
the
absolutely.
tape, but a second. Let's see.
This is just a couple of burns. Oh, do you have?
So you met David, and it was love at first sight.
Oh no, no, no! She's not done with the story because we didn't intend to get together. I was traumatized. I wasn't expecting to get with nobody.
Yeah, we
Oh,
were
okay.
both.
Oh yeah, go ahead and tell that
Oh,
story
I'm
first.
sorry. Yeah, I'll finish that real fast. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so he got on a plane, and I found a place for him to live, temporarily, somebody who needed a roommate, and he moved in there. She did not understand his trauma. Um, she did not understand the trauma. They did not get along. It was not working out at all. At all. It was like World War III over there, okay?
Yeah.
And I had to intervene constantly to calm it down. So he moved in here, and things just progressed. We were friends, and we talked through our trauma. Now, it was also Mr. and Mrs. Smith at the same time, because there would be times where I thought, wait a minute, is he is he a perp, and he's
Right.
mind reading me, and he would think the same about me, and
Right.
World War III would break out,
Yes.
okay, because we're protecting ourselves.
Yes.
And so it for about a year it was not so hot. We had to learn how to trust again. It was very difficult to learn how to trust somebody again. So we went through that process, but we hung in there. So it is possible for TIs to see other people, and for it to work out, but you have to work through the process and
Yes.
learn how to trust over again. And it's raw emotion. You go through total raw emotion because you're going through trauma
Keep your
again.
relationship private.
Yeah, you got to keep your relationship private,
Yes.
not
Yes.
stick it out there on social media,
Exactly.
which we tried not to do at all. And I'm private anyways, so that really helps. Um, so it really has worked out. We love each other a great deal, and he supports me, and I support him. So it is possible, but again, people, if you're going to try a relationship, hang in there, because you've got to work through the trauma and learn how to trust. And it
Yes.
takes time. It does not happen overnight. It does not happen in a month, and it may not happen in 4 months. So it
Yes.
takes time.
That's good advice.
Um,
Good
yeah,
advice.
David's going to share a couple of burns with you.
And another
Yes.
thing you got to do is you got to tell yourself when you're living with another TI, or another TI moves in, or you let another TI move in. Look, I'm gonna tell my paranoia on whatever it's telling me about this person being a perp. No, turn it off for 2 months and give this a shot. If I still got the same thought after 2 months, then I'll go with my move. But until then, of course your trauma is going to tell you, oh, this person's a perp right off the bat. Anybody who moves in.
Yes. And also subliminal
Yep.
messages from these criminals. They don't want you to meet up with somebody else because one, it interferes with their experiments. It is soothing, it's healing the trauma. They want to inflict more trauma.
Yes,
So it intercepts and starts to heal the person, and that really pisses them off.
right. It really does.
Yes.
Let me see. Okay, so here now I can do it now. Okay, let's see. Zoom again.
Are you going to attempt to screen share?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. Just tell me if you can see when I do it. All right. Can you see that?
I don't see anything. No,
Oh.
I actually see just a big S on the
Okay,
screen.
okay. Oh man, I should have. They had us so combobulated earlier when they hacked the meeting and the other link. So I apologize. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, here we go.
We can always do a follow. Oh, I think it's changing. The screen is changing. Yes.
Well, it won't do it.
Okay. Yes. We're going to be getting a new screen here, it seems.
Can you see it?
I'm starting to see a screen. It could be my laptop because my laptop is very slow. It may take a little while in my processes here. Yes, I see it. I see. I see it.
Okay.
Wait. Okay. Yeah, I see
Okay,
her
that
underneath the pin.
yeah, that is when they
Yes.
burned me from ear to ear on my neck. Okay. They burnt me
Yes.
so bad. It's a lot. It was a lot worse than it looks, but they burnt me so bad that I had to wear a wet towel at work around my neck, and
Wow.
it was so painful. I don't know. Anyways, it left scars. I have scars all over my neck from that burn. I don't know if it was first, second, or third degree, but it hurt like hell. And
It's such a sensitive area, and you're so fair.
yeah, very fair, very sensitive. So anything like that would just be enormous. Now, where's the other picture that covered the red all over?
Oh, I don't have that one in here yet. I don't think. I've been going through all my. I know what you're talking about. I can look for it,
Yeah, look for it.
but I don't know. I'll have to go on my phone and look for it because um, I don't think I've uploaded. We're
Where's
going
the-
through all our evidence from the last 3 years
Where's
in
the
our
other one?
Google Photos
Yes.
and our Google Drive and labeling it
Yes.
because you get in a hurry in this stuff and you just, I got it
I
though.
know.
We saw
I
it the other
know.
day.
I see. I see. But yes.
That
like-
showed up. I took that picture actually.
Yeah, that showed up out of the blue.
She said, "David, I'm burning again, and on my neck. Is there
Yes.
anything on there?" And I said, "Yeah."
Yeah, it gets really hot. I mean, they heat me up horribly. I
How do you
haven't
think it's
shown.
happening? How do you think is that a directed energy weapon? Is there nanotechnology in your neck?
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
how
you don't
they
know.
were able to pull that off, but I believe my belief is with the implants that they put in me, they strategically put these implants in and are able to hit me. Look at that one. That's a more up
I
close
see.
picture. Can you
I
see that?
see. I do. I see it.
Okay, that was more up close.
Yeah,
And
wasn't that at work?
yeah, I
You
was
had to
at
put
work.
a towel around your
I have a
neck.
towel around me, and my gloves are on, so I'm at work. Um, I had
Do
to
you
wear.
think that your earrings are acting as an antenna or preventing more from happening?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they pulled that off, but I believe it's the implants give them the ability to precisely hit me right where they want to hit me.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if I just knew where they were all at, boy, I'd have them removed if I could possibly.
Yes.
Hang on, we've got another one that's real bad.
That's on that. That's your That's your hand at one time when they
That's
burnt your
my
hand.
hand when they burnt my hand.
I
Really,
see.
really, really bad. See if you see the other one.
Which one? The one that shows your face?
Um, let's see.
That's one behind the ear.
No, that's not. That's not very good.
That's my
Now,
hand.
before we picked up where we left off, Holly, David noticed that Holly's ear was being targeted.
Yeah. Did you see the picture of that, Lorraine?
No, I haven't gone into my email.
Yeah, I sent one ear. I sent the left ear and then the right ear. The left ear is the one that's burnt. It's still red.
Is it still
It's
red?
still
Mhm.
red.
It's the bacon that got sabotaged.
Yeah. Show her the drone on my car. Go back up. Here's one of the drones that landed on my car, Lorraine. No, down. Right here.
Okay, one second.
There's a drone that landed on my cameras. Caught the drone on top of my car.
Well, or zooming past one of the two.
You see it?
Oh wow! Yes,
Yeah, it landed on my car.
that's
And
huge.
You see how big it is?
That's really big.
Yeah. I think that's a military drone.
It has to be.
Yeah, it's huge.
When a drone is that large, it has to be registered.
Oh.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, that happened like what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were doing some research on my channel, and I read it actually on one of my live streams that if a drone is a certain weight, a much smaller weight, it doesn't have to get tracked. You don't have to register it or anything. But if it's over a certain weight, it has to be registered, and it will be tracked. So that's way over the weight.
Now this vehicle here, remember when that vehicle, we got burnt like hell when this vehicle's well, but we think it was in direction. But check out this vehicle.
Oh yeah, yeah, that
He
little
stayed
white
in front of
truck.
our house for like 10 minutes.
Yes, yes.
It's messing up. Hold on. Wonder how I fix this. Wow. Okay. When you zoom in, it messes it up for some
Yeah,
reason.
don't zoom in.
Yeah. Now I got
Yeah, that little white truck. It looked like
Oh, yeah, we got burnt. But see, they do in direction, so they might have thought, they might have been like, okay, here, I know.
So yeah, that's big enough to have something in
It
it.
stayed parked right there in front of our driveway for like 10 minutes.
that almost looks like one of those little animal control trucks.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it is, or maybe it wasn't. I don't know, but it could have been in direction.
Yeah.
Could have been in direction.
Yeah, because what they'll do is they'll wait till a neighbor comes home at 5 o'clock every afternoon and hits you, and you think it's the neighbor, which neighbors are involved. So I'm not saying neighbors ain't involved, because they definitely
Right.
are. But sometimes they'll do that to make you attack your neighbor.
Sure, sure. Oh, I know that there are a lot of things that my neighbors are not involved with, but they're absolutely involved with
Oh yeah.
Attempting to destroy me. But that the interesting thing about that truck is that did you see the big bumper in front of it?
Yes.
And we got so much stuff. I've been adding all this evidence.
Where are the laser lights? Go keep going.
I
No,
think.
down.
Oh, okay. Right here.
Right here. Here's some of the lasers coming down from the drones right here, Lorraine.
Oh wow!
Now
Yeah.
you can tell. Hold on. You can tell the rain from the laser. You see the rain,
Yes.
and
yes.
there's the laser lights.
Yep. Oh, that's a good photo.
Yeah, we got our cameras caught it.
March 12th, 2023 at 6:30.
That's a good one.
There's one more I want her to see. Lorraine, we're gonna send you that picture by email, where they burnt me and my nose was purple.
Okay.
I'm gonna send that to you. Just don't share it. It's
I
really
won't
bad.
share it. Okay.
And there's one more that we can share. Can you find it in your phone real quick?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll share it.
Show them this real quick. Look, this is our router capabilities, y'all. 6 gigahertz.
Oh.
See, people say 6 gigahertz ain't out yet. Oh yeah, 6 gigahertz. Okay, now what did you want to see? The drone?
No, the picture.
Just tell me when to stop.
Is it in here?
What is it?
Really?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think that was in here yet. It was on. We shared it on Facebook, but it may be. Let's keep going down.
Well, go back up to one of those drones. Wait a minute, right
That's
there.
a drone.
Yeah, show her
That's
that.
at 3:48 in the morning. That's not no
Oh,
bird.
my. Wow, that's a good photo.
That's in February. In the South. I'm not going to reveal where, but in the South at 2023 in February at 3:48 in the morning. Somebody said that was a bird. Birds are not out in the cold,
Not a
below
bird.
30-degree weather.
That's
Like
that's
that
not
3 in the
even
morning.
that.
You
That's
can
a
see the
drone.
stars.
See, I got evidence. I just don't show it because I have to argue with these people who want to, argue with you online.
Say it's a
Don't argue.
spider.
There's no point in arguing with people.
Right.
If they're going to argue with you, that means that they're a perp. You just delete them.
Yeah. Oh, that's our. Well, I don't think it's in here. I know what you're talking about. I can send it to Lorraine though.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, everybody thinks we ain't got no evidence. I just think it's funny when they think that.
And you know what? And this is the key point is that everybody's targeting is different.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But they do. I mean, you have validated the fact of what they do when you have pets in the house, how terrified your pets are, how their behavior changes of the pets,
Yes.
and how they're harmed. Because they did that to one of my cats. They broke his hips.
They did what?
They cracked his hips.
Oh,
He couldn't walk.
Wow.
wow.
I have the X-rays. He was
That's
in
so
perfect
sad.
health. He was like 3 years old.
Wow. These people are sick,
They're so sick.
They are so sick. It's just,
So
it blows my mind what they,
it's beyond. I mean, there was a video that I posted on my channel, and it was on another person's channel that I mirrored, and it basically said that these black ops, that they're involved with some of the sickest kinds of experimentation, like really depraved, sinister, like nut. He said nutty stuff. It's beyond nutty.
right.
The things that
Sure
they
is.
do, I think it's just because they're so sadistic.
Right.
And I have this theory also that targeted people are sexual paraphilias for these perverts,
Right.
meaning that we're fetish.
Right.
So we fulfill some of these perverts' fetish. Besides the fact that they watch us 24/7, they surveil us. This is not normal.
No, it's not. It's not.
I really honestly I think about it. Like even those reality shows, I don't really care what you're doing in your bedroom. I don't care how you cook. I don't care where you go grocery shopping. It doesn't matter to me. I have more important things to concern myself with than having morons watch me cut the grass or who I'm speaking to,
Right.
preventing me from posting a video. I mean, look at what happened with David this past week.
Right.
And I think it was.
Yeah, I try to not discuss that because that is a huge trigger for them.
It sure is. It really is.
And
Show her that
and
burn
but
again.
then you could also preface this is for educational purposes only. You're not giving any advice or permissions or anything. That's educational purposes only. Well, that's pretty bad.
That's bad.
Yeah, that looks like it hurts.
It hurt like hell.
Yeah, that looks like a really bad sunburn.
Yeah, but do you see the white on the sides? Kind of
Yes,
where
yes, yes,
and when
yep,
burns do that, they gives you some white and in the red.
yes, yep.
Yeah, we're never going. We never go sunbathing.
No, we're
Well,
never out in the sun. I refuse. Do you see how
not
it's straight across? How it's precise? Look at the
it's
neck.
precise.
It's precise.
It's precise. They are precise. They can precisely cut a triangle, a perfect triangle in my forearm through a sweatshirt and a long sleeve compression shirt
Wow.
without damaging
You
either
remember
one
the
of the
cut on her arm?
shirts.
That's what she's talking about. The cut. They tried to say the cat done it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The cat didn't do that.
That was
The cat
horrible.
was glued to my legs.
Yeah. We believe you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, it took me almost an entire year, almost an entire year for my leg scars to disappear.
Wow. It took about a year for that to heal.
It took about 9 months,
Wow.
but I have a scar on my arm. I could send you what it looks like now. I sent it to somebody else who was shocked.
Yeah, send that to her.
Yeah, I'll send to you what it looks like now because we don't have a two-way camera thing going on here, so I'll send it to you after this ends. So you
And
can
what
see
I'll do is before I send you the video, before we do this, I'll edit all that out.
yes, if you could please do that because we definitely don't want it to be tagged.
Right.
Yeah. So, well, I am so glad. Thank you so much, Holly, for speaking out about your targeting is horrendous.
Yeah, thank you
And
for
also,
having me today, Lorraine. I really appreciate it. Really
well,
do.
thank you so much for trusting in my interviewing you. I know that you're a very private person. I know that even in David's videos, you're that voice in the distance and stuff. And this is traumatic. And I have no intentions of wanting to re-traumatize anyone. And and then presenting their evidence and their targeting experience. But I do try to encourage people to even speak out again about some of it, because collectively, this is a nightmare. This is horrendous, and the fact that the intelligence agencies are involved,
Right.
and that the black ops and the military, and that they're silencing people
Right.
in such a way, and destroying lives, just totally destroying lives,
Right.
is this should not be happening. We did not do anything to deserve this, and this has everything to do with what they're doing to us, how they're traffic lighting us, how they're profiting on us, and fulfilling their sadistic pleasures, and their job security, because there is not enough crime in this country. It needs to be generated, created, instigated, which is why I call them my favorite Bureau of Instigation, because that's what they do. They instigate people into acting out. And
Right.
this is the way it works, right?
Right.
You have pets, right? So like if you've got a cat, your cat's asleep, right? You go to pet your cat. The cat's still going to stay asleep. You're going to pet the cat again. The cat might flicker a little bit. You start petting the cat more and more and more. The cat starts twitching, the ears start twitching. It's like, okay, I want to take my nap, and you're bothering me. And then suddenly you go and you kiss that cat. The cat just freaks out. And
Right.
that's what they do to us. It's like little by little, but what they do to us is just so mean spirited, nasty, cruel, sadistic. And they get off on it.
Yes. Yeah. They sure do. It's
No
sad.
one should have to stay silent about what's happening to us.
Right.
And no, you're not going to gaslight me. I'm too old to be gaslit about this stuff.
Right.
You're not going to tell me at 66 years old that I suddenly turned schizophrenic because
Right.
I'm speaking the truth about something. Come on, get a life.
Right.
You
Exactly.
know?
Exactly.
And as
And
soon as you
there
see that, as
there
soon as
were
you see those
times,
words, you know that that's a perpetrator.
right. There were times when they started burning holes in my face. I would go in the bathroom at work and try to wash them off my face. I was convinced, oh well, this was not here. Let me try to wash this off my face. There was no washing it off. There's no
No,
washing it off. They burn
no.
laser holes. If anybody knows what a laser burn is, they're
Yes.
spot on perfect round holes that are burnt in my skin and
Yes.
makes me and disfigures me. And
Yes.
the only hopes I've got in the future is probably plastic surgery of some type, to fix this. And believe me, I'm not ruling it out. um because it's affected me so horribly. But
It's affected you. Of course it did.
yeah, yeah,
No one should be disfigured, permanently disfigured because of somebody's evil experiment,
right,
or because they can't stand women.
right. Agreed, totally.
So thank you so much for speaking out, Holly.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
welcome, Lorraine. Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.
so welcome. And
Um,
thank you, David, for sharing your platform.
Oh, no problem. Do you want me to stop the recording now?
Yes, if you could stop the recording so we can have a chat about other things, I'm going to stop mine too.
Okay.
Okay.